Corey called me and set the pace of what the agenda was going to be before I got there. What did I do to warrant a nigga saying to me that I kiss white men's ass?
Since you wanted to provoke that level of energy, you should have said it again since you wanted to match that energy. Going outside is not matching that energy. Saying it again is matching that energy. And that's what real men do.
You stood up to run.
Who said I stood up to run? Who said
I did. You, the one that right next to you, you stood up to run.
Bro, let me say
You were
this.
escaping.
I'm going to say this. I don't believe that the overwhelming majority of that comment on it really would throw hands in real life.
I would. With you.
Listen.
Nobody
it's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks. I have never seen not one of you ever say
Stop
anything.
Stop talking tough, Anton.
Hold on, wait.
Let him rap.
You the guest. Y'all talking about me. So let me get my shit off. Because ain't nobody coming to hear about you. But first of all, let me say salute to the panel, salute to Philosophical. I know we had our differences in the past, but
yes, we did.
I respect.
Now I'm gonna say this before we get started. My issue with you, bro, is not success. It's not the fact that you have subscribers. Get your money. My issue is you come off as someone who's trying to talk to black men, but at the same time, or talk to black people or respond to black culture, but at the same time you shit on black culture, but you still try to carry the aesthetic that you know that's going to attract the same demographic that you're really trying to reprimand. If that's how it come off to me. Like I heard, like when we was on the panel, the thing that stood out to me the most, besides this, because you know I reached out to you after that, but you never responded. So
no, I don't remember you reaching out to me after.
I did. I sent you an email and you never responded. And I said,
I get thousands of emails every day.
I bet I'm not putting you on the spot, but you responded to the first one, but you never responded to the second one. Because he was like, yo, we could talk, we could work it out. And I said, yo, but I want to have a conversation first. And I never got a response, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm saying this, when you get on these shows, the main thing that stood out to me that day when I called up on your show, you said, Malcolm X, bro. And it wasn't even about, I was of course offended that you said that, but my issue is nobody else was. And I think that you saying stuff like that and people not responding and having no smoke, and all they could see is the fact that I cut this man off, but they had no smoke or no issues for you saying that, to me was bothering me. And to me, I'm seeing a trend of people just feeling like just on black people all together is something we need to do. Like we can call out the bad elements without throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Could you say
maybe he don't agree with Malcolm X's message? Maybe he just don't agree. That's one of the biggest things I don't understand is that because I'm black, I can't critique black problems or black issues that I might find as a problem. Like, what is wrong with that? White people do it all the time. Asian people do it all the time. Why can't you call out? You should be more qualified to call out your own culture's problems and have disagreements with outside of other cultures. I'm pretty sure you'll be really upset if a white guy was calling out black culture, or Asian or Mexican dude, because you would say that you don't even relate to what we actually experience, but you have someone who is black. It's a problem when you call out things. That's problematic to me.
Black culture, you say that, but then when you go live, you got black culture aesthetics all around you, bro. Like you got Chronic behind you. That's a black street nigga album, for lack of a better term. You got this one, you got that one. So it's like you're trying to appeal to the aesthetic of black people, but then at the same time you want to smack them down. It's like I think you're sending mixed messages, and I feel like somebody that has your influence can do better than that. But that's my opinion, and that's what I want to talk about today. But the floor is yours. You can respond.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say respect to the platform, and the reason that I'm coming up here is because I support all creators, regardless of whether I agree with them or not, right? So I could disagree with you, but it doesn't mean that I don't want you to win, right? So let me start there by saying respect to the platform, and that's why I'm here. The second thing is, to answer you directly, I do think that you need to throw the culture away, because what I define as the culture, because I think it's a difference between black people and black culture, right? What we push as black culture is the things that we celebrate the most. And definitively, most of the time, that is the worst things for us. We pedestalize, we celebrate it, we don't want to call it out, but then when somebody finally says something about it, then they become the big bad wolf. And so I don't celebrate the majority of what we as a culture like to champion is best for us. It has destroyed our households. It has destroyed our communities. And it's 10 times worse than it's ever been at any point in history. So I stand on that. I haven't changed up on that at all. I think
I agree with that too.
I believe that it needs to be a completely different culture, right? We celebrate jail culture, and then we down people that actually go to school every day, and we call them lames.
Exactly. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I fit into that category because of the decisions that I made in my life or the path that I chose. People will look at me more like, hey, he might be corny, he might be lame because he, talks a certain way, he acts a certain way. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in a project called Westlake Apartments, and I never resonated with hood type culture, like selling dope outside on the corner, trying to rob, trying to hit a lick, all this type of stuff. I never resonated with that. And it's not a social media thing. Look in your own backyard and see what your city, your hoods in your city, what do they look like? And then you can make that decision.
But Anton,
we push the worst things for ourselves, but then at the same time, you know how many people wanted to see me lose at Corey's platform? You know how many people wanted to see me lose?
But why, Anton? Why they want to see you lose?
Because I represent something that they are not used to seeing winning.
But that's not true, Anton. That's not why everybody wants. That's maybe why some of them do it. But
No,
everybody didn't want to see you lose because of that, bro.
That's why most people do it. If I was up here talking about some of the worst stuff ever, like we always do in our culture, I would be cool.
Anton, this is why
but because I stand 10 toes down.
You know what culture is.
This is why I'm disagree with you, Anton, because I go through the same thing. I go through the same thing. Everybody in this space, I just got into it with Fatty because he was saying, you need to leave this space because you want to be righteous and all that. Because I be on panels talking about real shit. I be having interviews talking about stuff that's not messy. And I don't get that support when I do that. So I don't do that.
Well,
I literally was laughed at by people in this space.
Yourself better. You need to learn how to market yourself better. That has nothing to do with.
No, I'm not even talking about, bro. I ain't even talking about numbers. I'm just talking about people rather see arguments than information. Now, if you want to say, hey, it's a better way to prevent your information, I'm always open to a suggestion. But what I'm saying is I've been on panels with just all men, bro, and they laughed at me because I said things like, they said, what's your solution, Illa? I said, I think the children is the solution. I think the children is a viable solution because we can't fix old dogs, but we can re-engineer and
I agree with that.
But this is the thing. This space laughed at me. I was on panels with dudes and I was bringing out.
Maybe he might be in the wrong space. You ain't preaching nothing wrong if you saying that. I say the exact same thing. You might have to find a different way to gravitate or attach it to people, but you can't complain when the people around you are the ones that's clowning. You need to go to where it needs to be heard and where you can actually push your message at. You got other brothers like 19 Keys. I see him preach nothing but positivity, and he's very popular. You might have to move different. And I think that's what Anton was getting at when he said you might have to market yourself better. But Illa kind of took offense to that when he said, I'm not talking about numbers and that. You have to take your personal thoughts on how things might sound to you and really listen to what Anton is saying. He's saying market yourself to where now you can get your message out appropriately instead of being in a space right now where they're not digesting it. But I think that went over his head when Anton said that.
Books about history, about culture,
the
and
difference
niggas
between
really
you and me is I don't give a fuck about what people think about me.
No, I'm just giving you an example of how the gripe that I don't give a fuck. That's why I do what I do. But
no,
I'm just giving you an example of that gripe that you have. I have that gripe as well. But that doesn't excuse. That doesn't mean I'm not going to still speak to these people with love. Like it's still some love and empathy in me trying to relate to people because everybody is not what we see on the computer. Everybody's not what we see on the street. These people still got children, aunts and uncles and nieces and nephews. So I don't just speak the message that just go ahead.
Hold on. I just want to say this real philosophical. You cannot try and put that on Anton Daniels as a social media influencer to say that he needs to talk to people with love. Look for that with your father, your mother, your brother, your sister. Look for that type of love, that empathy love from them, because guess what? The world is going to punish you. And maybe Anton Daniels' form of communication to the public might be a little harsh sometimes. It might not always be coddled and make me feel special and so on and so forth. Sometimes you got to throw that out. You might need his approach in your life because you don't have that in your life. So to try and put that type of a standard on the content creator, somebody who don't know none of these people that listen to him, that is crazy as hell. You got to figure out in your life on what you need to listen to and what's digestible for yourself. But if you're looking for some type of coddle love, look for that in your personal family and the people around you that might reinforce your bad behavior.
People's lineage needs to die off. I don't need to support and rock out with people just because you're black. True. There's some people that are so degenerate and so bad for what it is that we stand for. And let's be clear, we're the only culture that forces all of us to support all of the bullshit, regardless of what everybody does. All white people don't f with white people. Asian people don't f with Asian people. They outcast them to certain cities. If you go over to Japan, if you go over to Tokyo, they got whole cities that's dedicated to motherfuckers that can't come outside, based off of the fact that they're not contributing to the culture and they're degenerate. But we're the only culture that we have to support at all just because I'm black. No, I don't.
No, I don't think we need to support all the bullshit. But we still have to give freedom.
But let me just say this. I think that what you said, as far as ruling in love, I don't believe in that. I believe that sometimes you have to completely go in to destroy all of it. And I don't feel as though I have to make it right with people that have lived their whole lives to be destroyers. Some people are not good people for people, and I believe that I can destroy it all. I think when I go into a place, I'm not looking to be friends with these niggas. I don't need to have a conversation with everybody to make it cool. And let me be very clear. When me and Corey, because a lot of people say I came in with an agenda.
I thought you did.
Corey called me and set the pace of what the agenda was going to be before I got there.
Before Anton expounds upon that, I think it's beneficial to be a well-rounded person. If you're gonna live in America, as you can say, a black or African American, whatever you want to call yourself, your title is still going to be American. If you get apprehended by another country, you're going to be identified as an American. So what I would suggest anybody who lives in America to be well-rounded.
I knew it was going to be smoke because he already told me that it was going to be smoke and that he had smoke for me. I knew he was going to disrespect me before he disrespected me because he had already led on. He didn't say directly, I'm going to disrespect you. He said, I got smoke for you and it's not going to, you know what I'm saying? It's not going to be one of them cool shows. So what do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm going to go in there like a deer in headlights?
Oh, wow.
Hey, I don't think he really knew.
I'm asking a question.
I don't think he did.
Because everybody
if that's the case,
they make a big deal. They make a big deal when I say that I prepared and I studied for him. I think that the real travesty is that he wasn't prepared, but yet he invited me to his studio. I flew from Detroit to LA. And so you think that I'm supposed to be the B-side. I'm supposed to be the one that's going to lose.
Yeah, you're the away team.
I wasn't prepared to lose.
And prior to you coming on the show, I kind of alluded to that. Because quite frankly, like I told the brothers here, y'all both won because y'all basically have us talking about it. And the internet space, that is exactly what it's designed for, is to have people talk. Whether they're talking negative or positive does not matter. The point is, we're sitting here talking about it. So I commend y'all both on that. But
I'll say this: let me listen to what Sean's gonna say first.
To my point that I made prior to that, neither one of y'all was sitting there y'all both were doing the same thing. When you pointed out the fact that
I met his energy, bro. I never got disrespectful. Until I got disrespectful.
Hey, you ain't being honest. You came in, Anton, you came in being condescending, bro.
What did I say? Wait. What did I say that was condescending?
You came in to allude to his chat. You came in to allude to how tough his chat was and that they not tough.
That has nothing to do with disrespecting Corey Holcomb. If you're right there and you're reading the chat and they talking trash, that's literally just speaking on what he's seeing right there in real time. And even Corey agreed to it, and Darlene agreed to the same thing.
Yeah, because the whole chat, if you go back and watch the live, the whole chat was saying, oh, he gay.
But you just said you don't care what people say. You just said you don't care what people think, bro.
You did say that.
You can't say that I was coming in and being disrespectful because I talked to the chat.
I said condescending. That's what I said.
Yeah, but again, bro, this is the content creator part of it, bro. Y'all again,
fantastic.
You can't say all fantastic. Let me say this.
Every single
what
day
is that?
on every single live stream. on my own live streams is I talk to the chat. I talk to my own chat every single day. That is not new.
Let's get off the chat. Let's get off the chat.
I want to know.
One at a time, y'all. Anton here, so let's let him talk.
The first thing that Anton said was he was on time.
Disrespectful to him.
How's that disrespectful?
Prior to being told, prior to being told that I kiss white men's ass.
Not disrespectful. It was condescending. The on-time statement, the very first statement that Anton made was
I got invited to a show.
And he was late.
Wait. I got invited to a show. I flew 4.5 hours from Detroit.
So what?
Wait, give me a second.
That's crazy for Picasso to even say so what when there is certain guidelines that you need to follow in business. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay, you're right.
I flew 4 hours from Detroit. I'm there on time. I gotta wait more than a half hour for you to even arrive. That's disrespectful in itself.
Yeah, on business, man, and everything. That's what I'm saying. How you gonna say whatever?
You could discuss that on camera, though. You could discuss that before the show started, bro. You could discuss that before the show started. If it's that big of a deal, bro, you could discuss that before the camera gets rolling.
In fairness, hold on.
Hey, when Illa talking, man, y'all gotta shut the hell up. When Illa talking, y'all gotta shut the fuck up, bro.
All right,
fellas.
Why do you think that he was complaining about the conversation that I had with Darlene for a long time before he even got there? You know why I was able to do that? Is because he wasn't there.
Yeah, he was late.
The reason why I was able to have so much conversation and get toured on the whole facility and find out who owned it and learn all about what it is that's going on and see how his production team worked and kick it with Darlene and get every single piece of information is because he wasn't there. That's not my fault. That's the you fault.
So what are you trying to expose by doing that?
No, I said, what did I do that was disrespectful prior to being told?
Before we got to the disrespectful part, we asked about the condescending. The first thing that they said was the chat. But hold on, Anton. The condescending thing you did, the very first thing you said was condescending, which was I was on time, which was something you could have discussed afterwards. But you came there with the identity that you were gonna win something.
That's unfair.
Listen. So as grown men, he can't have a little add that to the conversation or whatnot. Man, I see in the workplace all the time. People start meetings off. If you late, they gonna call you out. They gonna say something about you. Talking about these are two grown adults, two fully functioning, high profile individuals, and you telling me that one can't say that to just spice the conversation up or lead into the conversation. There's nothing wrong with that. Like now, it's gonna boil down to how you as a person is receiving it, and if you might be emotional, possibly.
He already explained what he was trying to do.
He told me on the phone he wanted this to be an explosive, volatile, and he wanted this to be emotional.
Oh wow!
He told me, listen. This is the honest to God truth.
Can you prove that?
No. Listen.
Let him talk. Let him talk, y'all. Let him talk.
I have to prove it.
No, you're right, Anton.
Wait. Listen to what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
One of the things that he told me when I first got on the call is, I hope you don't record phone calls. I said, I said, what is that? I said, I don't record no phone calls. I said, you ain't never seen me drop no receipts on nobody phone calls. He said, because I want to set the stage of how things is gonna go. First thing he started to do is he started to talk about all of the niggas that he didn't like. I'm not gonna say that out loud because that ain't got nothing.
That ain't important.
The second thing that he said was what he wanted the show to be like. He knew it was gonna be volatile. He knew it was gonna be problems. He didn't want me to agree with him, and he wanted it to actually be some real fireworks in there.
I think that right there closes the door for a lot of people's arguments who had the question of, was it staged? Of course it wasn't staged, but the fact that Corey actually asked Anton to make it spicy, to add a little bit more flair and fire to it, what you expect Anton to do? Hold back no punches. Like, if he's going to come in there, if Corey's going to start talking about certain topics that Anton is very prolific in, if he's going to do that, that means Anton is going to bring his A game. That means that when the conversation is going a certain direction, Anton is going to make sure he recenter it and redirect it and make sure he controls the argument. See, that's how, and I mentioned this on a panel I was on, to where it's a debate tactic when you can restructure how the conversation is going to flow, opposed to the interviewer asking you all these questions jumping around. Anton went straight to the meat and potatoes and went straight to some of the main talking points. Hold on, are you saying?
Hold on, Picasso. Let me talk.
Okay.
If you set the stage for how you want it to go, it's your show, it's your studio, it's your production team. You say you want me to be there. I got the text messages from Phil of exactly the time that I had to be there. I'm sitting there waiting, all of this stuff. Why are y'all making so many excuses for a grown man not being able to meet the expectation?
Exactly.
Let me ask this question.
Hold on, chill.
Let me ask this question. Let me ask this question.
Monster, let me jump in real quick. I'm gonna say this.
Anton good at.
Because I don't want to be petty. Because
Somebody said this one Anton good at, boy, it's crazy.
that's because we can get to the meat of the shit. If that's the case, out of fairness, I'm not. Nobody can say I'm unfair. We already know our history is well documented. If Corey was late and he told you that on the phone, you just saying I was on time is minor. In my opinion, in that instance, that's wrong. We should just move on. That's what happened behind the scenes, and all you said was you was late. I think that's like it's null and void at that point.
Wow, Philosophical actually is agreeing with Anton Daniels. They had a really bad debacle about 2 years ago. The clips on Anton Daniels' Millionaire Morning Show, they had a heated back and forth, which I think is because Philosophical wanted to call Anton Daniels out. The thing about it is they having an actually good conversation between how much beef they had in the past. I'm actually kind of shocked that it's going this smooth, but it's just respect, I would say.
That aspect, but it's a lot to unpack in this conversation.
I have a question.
Wait. Here's the real question, because see, y'all only talk about how I responded. What did I do to warrant a nigga saying to me that I kiss white men's ass?
Well, you kept avoiding the question. Let me make this statement.
Go ahead, Boston.
I got a statement to make because I gotta run in a little bit. But when I first got on, I specifically said you can't police someone's response to disrespect. I said that. So whatever someone says or does that triggers you in a way that's disrespectful, they don't have a right to determine how you respond to their disrespect. But I agree. But what I wanted to say though, my question for you, Anton, is this. You spoke about how certain aspects of Black culture is toxic, how it needs to die, and I understand
the majority of what it is yes.
For sure. And you don't really care about, what people think, so on and so forth. However, I must say, do you think the display that you both had is a good image and positive and 100%. Beneficial to the image of Black men based on what's already said about the levels of ignorance or toxicity that people say we display? Wouldn't that be a part of the negative elements of Black culture that you are against?
No, absolutely not.
Could you explain?
It's because I believe that people need to understand that intellect and the nerd, because I champion myself as being a nerd, that it's cooler to be the nerd than it is to be the guy that he is.
Okay. I think it was a healthy back and forth. Don't get me wrong. Was it chaotic on camera or whatnot? Yes, but it never went to actually fighting. The thing about it is we're going to have to learn how to see disagreements. We see worse disagreements in our day-to-day lives, whether it be between Black and Black, white and Black, Asians, Mexicans. You're going to see disagreements. Just because it happened on a big stage like that actually shows that everybody can still be human. Everything ain't so PC or everything ain't so robotic or everything is being controlled. This looked very out of the norm to see these two big content creators going back and forth like this. So it never actually went to blows. And sometimes some of these situations you still cannot control. The one thing we can do, like everybody is having their opinion about it, what would you do in that situation possibly? But that's the only thing you really can take from it. Disagreements and fights are always going to happen in life.
So what about?
I believe the message that people receive is that the bully get bullied when they don't have themselves ready and prepared intellectually, and it shows that the leaders and the people that we follow is trash. And so I don't give a about what other people think about me. As far as like outsiders, what people will say is the image of Black people. The only thing I care about is how am I affecting other people as far as changing the narrative of what we should be and how we should be as far as what we champion is the best thing for the culture. Yeah, that's the only thing I care about. I don't give a about what nobody else thinks.
So, do you think that was a good display So you think that was?
He's still stuck on the nerd concept. Here's the thing: the nerd and the bully, that is a concept. The bully usually bullies the nerd. The nerd sometimes doesn't fight back, but I think what Anton's analogy is that the nerd fights back against the bully, the person who's possibly perceived as more cooler in the culture. And I think Anton is kind of more the underdog based on the conversation, because Corey already put him in a category to say he like white people. So that's already going to put you in a place with black people as the black sheep. What the hell? Why you think like that? So it does show a bigger image behind the scenes on you can see what two parties are fighting against each other.
A good display of what black culture should be. Two black men, mandingo fighting, using profanity against each other, cursing each other out. You know, do you think that was a good display of what black masculinity should be? As opposed to, because to me, it seemed like that's the same thing. That's already. Hold on, let me finish. Let me just. But what was intellectual about that? Because to me, the display was very similar to what we see on Zeus Network or any other black media-based show in terms of the dialogue being toxic, disrespectful to one another. Because my position is that you both took L's in that regard. You know, I understand you had an agenda, he had an agenda, but to me, it just wasn't a good look. I understand you don't care, but not caring still doesn't speak to the fact of what needs to change in black culture as far as the nonsense and the toxicity. And I think that was a further display of that.
I think you need to go back and study the tape.
But even more importantly,
what I took from it is it was intellectual until it wasn't. It was a conversation until one person couldn't substantiate their argument, and then they started to throw insults. But see, what I believe is awesome about the whole situation is that this isn't a black thing. This isn't just a white thing. This isn't anything. This is a man thing. And when somebody call you an insult, I don't think it's a bad thing to stand up for yourself. When somebody say, hey, move out the way, and they pull up their chair like they're going to do something, I don't think it's a bad thing for you to stand up for yourself.
Exactly.
So I met energy. It was an intellectual conversation until it wasn't.
I think the problem is that we overemphasize this whole black thing. Mansa did the same thing again. Does that show black masculinity, black excellence? What are you talking about, man? We are humans at the end of the day. Well, we are humans who get in disagreements, conflicts, wars. You cannot, just because your skin is brown does not remove you from any of your attributes when it comes down to your high self and low self. You're going to be split up and broken down into all these different characteristics and attributes that you now have to apply into your life. So to say that you might be above an argument or a disagreement, in some situations you might turn the cheek, but in a lot of them sometimes you might match energy. It's just really going to depend on you. But we're all humans at the end of the day. We can't just say we're above any and every action.
And when somebody got frustrated, they called you out your name. And instead of me saying, well, you know what? I'm going to turn the other cheek. I decided not to.
Hold on, bro. I just want to respond.
We got to do one at a time, y'all.
He was talking to me, though.
Yo, we got it, fellas. Okay. We got to do one at a time. He's here. We ain't got a trip. He showed up. To my surprise, because I thought this was way too small for you, but you pulled up. So respect. So let's talk respectfully. We're not trying to have a Corey versus Anton part 2 or Illa versus Anton part 2. We just talking about what we agree with and we don't, but we gotta be in our proper body and go one at a time. So the floor is gonna go to Picasso and then Fantastic. All right.
I only got like a half hour because I got to get ready.
No, you ain't. I got you.
Like, all right, cool.
Okay, so you just said you came in and you matched energy. I want to challenge you. You didn't match the final energy. I believe you saved yourself through optics by looking like you matched energy.
How do you know?
Because you didn't say it again.
Oh my God!
I said it 3 times.
No, when he was in your face.
You want me to put a pen on my shoulder and say,
Anton, this is the part that everybody missed. When he got in your face, he took time. He said, "Do you want to go there?" I don't know all the verbatim, right? But when he put that mic down, he said, "Say it again." Since you wanted to since you wanted to provoke that level of energy, you should have said it again. Since you wanted to match that energy, going outside is not matching that energy. Saying it again is matching that energy, Anton, and that's what real men do.
Listen, bro.
If a man, hold on, Anton,
bro.
let me finish my part. Because you only got 30 minutes. You only got 30 minutes. Look, if somebody comes to you in your face and said, "Hey, you said something from over there, but I'm in your face, and I don't want to tear my shit up, and I don't want to derail my brand." No. But guess what? A man gives another man a chance to pop some shit off if he really want to, because sucking the dick of black people is popping some shit off. But he came to your face and he said, "Say it again, brother. Say it again."
Picasso, this is the problem with a lot of our culture. And I'll be honest, he is a big part of the problem when it comes out to just crash out mentality. Anton already stated that behind the scenes, Corey said that he wanted the show to be spicy. That already negates what you're saying right there. So if you wanted it to be spicy, that means some of Anton's responses could be slightly spicy or whatnot. And he matched energy when it came down to the response of kissing white ass opposed to sucking black D. They are in the same category. Maybe the D one could be a little bit more disrespectful, but guess what? You are matching it when it comes down to the verbiage. The sad part is that we want to shame people in our community still that crash out to the extreme level. But when you don't want to crash out to an extreme level, you also a problem at the same time. This doesn't make any sense. He should be on the side like Mansa was, to where as a black man, you should not want to show yourself like that, or you should want to be more reserved. But no, you want him to crash out and lose and burn, crash and burn everything that he's already built in his life. It does not work like that. That's the problem what Picasso is making right now, and I do not agree with that at all.
So you gonna give me a chance to respond, or you just want to get it out?
Bro. You ain't.
We just matching energy until he wasn't.
Hey, fantastic. Chill out. Go ahead, Anton.
You telling me to chill out, nigga? I'm
Anton,
Hold
on. We ain't gotta argue. Here's the thing. Here's where I'm from. It may be a little bit different than where you from. Where I'm from, we don't have to go up to a person and say, we don't need nobody to put a battery in our back to do whatever it is that we feel. If we feel disrespected, we disrespect it. So it's either you gonna do something or you don't. Here's the key. I'm not there to fight. I'm not there to be a tough guy.
Exactly.
But you were. You provoked something.
You gonna let me finish?
Yeah, let him talk. Please let him talk.
You gonna let me finish? I'm not there to be the tough guy. I'm also not there to fuck up your platform. Because the one thing that we know for sure, and the two things is for certain, is YouTube do not fuck around when people fight. Okay. They don't fuck around with porn, and they don't fuck around with fighting.
That is true.
They will demonetize you, they will remove you, and your platform will be completely gone. That's just the facts. So what I told him is that, listen, I'ma respect your platform. That's what I said, word for word. I said, I'ma respect your platform. In the midst of all, when he said it again, I said, nah, listen, I said, man, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. You ain't tough. I don't think you're gonna do nothing, but I'ma respect your platform. That's
no, Anton. Picasso wants you to be a crash out. He wants you to crash and burn both of y'all platforms and not care about the situation.
I said out of my mouth verbatim.
Okay.
And I said, all right, listen. The minute
y'all let Fantastic get in it. He ain't gonna be here that long.
Go and watch the tape. The minute that he put the microphone down, I said, because apparently to me that means it ain't no more talking. All right, well, we can go outside with.
Oh man, come on.
That's exactly.
Let him speak his speech.
I know what Anton. Here's the thing about it. I understand what Anton would have done if they would have went outside. He would have de-escalated it. It would not have went to fighting because Anton wanted to remove it off from camera. And I don't care if somebody said that's scared, you're not standing for yourself as a man. Guess what? Every individual is going to handle conflict differently. I can't determine, and this is why we have jail cells for people who, man, in my city. A man literally, in Savannah, Georgia, they were in a Target parking lot. A man and another man got into a disagreement. One man was with his wife and child. The other man killed him over a parking space. Broad daylight, killed him. Front of his wife and his child. Parking space. Think about that crash out level. That's why we have jail cells, to place people like that in there, because guess what? Every situation ain't meant to crash out that extreme. But guess what? You're a lame if you don't say something back. Now you dead. You feel me? Sometimes some situations is meant to walk away from because you don't know the temperature of it. They're in a studio. They know that temperature ain't gonna go to fighting. So Anton said, let's go off camera. Let's talk about this and come back. We can handle this in a different way now if it's supposed to be a spicy debate.
Fantastic. Jump in there, and then I want to talk to you before you leave.
Let me go out to Fantastic. Yeah, bro. Come on, bro.
You're right.
So,
Fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah, so first and foremost, y'all are only assessing this in the moment. This is Corey's brand, okay? Corey disrespects black people all the time, specifically black people 99% of the time, okay? Boom. So if and when he goes there and Anton's giving you some behind-the-scenes shit where he said, hey, bro, hey, it's going to be smoke, it's going to be whatever, and again, he's going there with content. It's not Anton. We already said this. Anton is away. He don't have no home court advantage. He's in the belly of the beast. He's in the fucking lion's den, and then you start saying some wild shit. The whole point of Corey, y'all saying Corey won or he and what? No, Corey didn't win anything. Corey's whole point was to punk Anton from jump. All right, he's the pudgy internet nigga. It's not tough, so he gonna say some shit. I'm gonna take it there because I know I can't defeat him intellectually. Y'all keep talking about the intellect or lack the intellect. He missed what Anton said several times just from the political thing. He said, "Hey man, local elections." He kept talking about national. Corey doesn't even have a fundamental understanding of politics, bro. So again, this is where Anton is right in the point of where the comedians and the athletes and the people that don't know shit about the shit niggas need to care about are the people that speak for and represent everybody, bro. Okay,
Mr. Fantastic said that beautifully. He is 100% right. That group of people who specialize in a certain type of entertainment speak for the whole. I think more people possibly need to redirect their mindset and think a little bit more broad perspective when it comes down to politics, not just entertainment revolve people, all your favorite entertainers telling you what to do, how to follow people, whatnot. You need to start listening to people who are a little more qualified that are speaking on real situations that could possibly help the community opposed to just make it more fun.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Let me do this real quick, bro, because like I said, I ain't saying everybody hasn't got their shit. Now, Anton, the provoking part, right? Cool, fine. Where I'm from, Anton, where most niggas from, niggas don't get in your face like that, okay? You, again, where the man shit, we gonna talk about man shit, you should have never allowed yourself to be in a position where a man is standing over you, domineering over you, sit down in front of you, and then wave his hands and do all this Tony Yayo shit, or whatever. Now, I think you did do the best thing once the opportunity presented itself to create space and distance and get up and whatnot, what have you. But at the end of the day, neither one of y'all wanted to fight, bro. You didn't want to fight. Corey's 58 years old. You're not trying to fight. And again, at the end of the day, it worked out for the best part for you because you're the full-time content creator. Exactly. And Corey does a fucking podcast one time a week.
Exactly.
In life, in every situation.
Oh, here we go.
What do you mean here? What are you talking about, bro?
Just finish. Just finish.
Go ahead, brother.
Because I can sense when people already is a fan of maybe Corey Holcomb, or they're unable to make an objective assessment, right?
True.
And that's when they start to reply before I even say what I'm gonna say. You got to let me finish, right? In life, in no fight that I've ever had in my entire life, elementary school, middle school, high school, brothers, nephews, uncles, I've never wanted to fight. I don't know many people that want to get into a confrontation just off of GP.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do what I got to do if I got to do it.
Sometimes the situation that you placed in, you have to sit there and you gotta figure it out. And most people don't just seek conflict and just try and just beat people up on the street, or I'm just gonna start an argument to fight. You have some people who are on that type of time. Majority of people avoid confrontation. But he was told behind the scenes that it was supposed to be spicy. So even the standing up and all this stuff, it could be part of the show. If you're told that behind the scenes, you have to really look at the context. Anton giving that piece of context changes everything.
That's the whole point. Everybody keeps saying, man, you didn't want to scrap. I know, nigga, I came up there for a conversation. Of course I didn't want to scrap. That wasn't the goal.
So can I ask the question real quick?
Hold on. Let me respond.
That's crazy.
So this is, like I said, and this is my problem. This is my issue.
It wasn't even, listen, it wasn't even about winning or losing.
Absolutely not. I agree.
It's not about winning or losing. I done lost, I done won. It's not about winning or losing. It's about, listen, if you really about that life, because I never asked to switch chairs.
He did.
I never went up to him and got in his face. If this is what you about, then let's really find out.
You was talking greasy short shit.
The thing that niggas ain't having a conversation about is when I stood up, he sat down.
Yeah, but he said, "Get your out of here." You and your like, I don't even want to keep talking about that part.
That's the end. That's the way.
Yeah, that's the end. But I'm saying he said in your Facebook. This is my issue, Anton. This is my
up the run.
My issue. My point is this. It's a way to do.
Who said I stood up the run? Who said
I did. You, the one right next to you, you stood up the run.
Bro, let me say
you were
this.
escaping.
I'm gonna say this.
He's an escape artist.
Right back down. Yeah. I don't believe that the overwhelming majority of you niggas that comment on this shit really would throw hands in real life.
I would with you.
Listen.
Nobody
it's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't believe that I have never in my life.
What's that belief based on?
I had millions of people that agree with me and disagree with me. I have never seen not one of you niggas ever say
Stop
anything
talking tough, Anton.
Hold on, wait. Let me say.
Let him rock.
You the guest. Y'all talking about me. So let me get my shit off because ain't nobody coming to hear about you.
Oh,
I have never ran into any one of you niggas in real life.
Oh shit.
And ever heard none of y'all niggas say that y'all had a problem and that y'all wanted to throw hands. So let's be clear. Stop that tough guy.
You can't run.
Everybody stop that tough guy shit, bro. Stop the tough guy.
Well,
you would
Anton,
never even be able to get close to me. So that's not even a conversation. Don't tell me what you would have did.
You're funny, man.
Don't tell me what you would have did. You would never do no in real life. We not going with that.
You're funny. You wouldn't say
you know what the sad part is just like earlier in this show, they talking about black love, black unity, black people supposed to be caring about each other, but y'all willing to beat up a guy who's a content creator online. That is crazy that they willing to say, yeah, I'm gonna fight you, I'll beat you down. This is what you call not controlling your emotions, because how can you say this man, at the end of the day, the things that he talk about or preach still ain't damaging to a large majority of people. I mean, if he's teaching finances, how to learn politics, how to avoid bad behavior, have some discipline in your life, is he really teaching people things that are that bad to where these two guys are saying that I will beat your ass type shit? This is the same reason why you see our own black leaders getting killed by the same people that they look like.
Well, I wanted to go ahead, Ella, you got it. You got it, Ella. No, come on, bro. Come on.
What I'm gonna say is this.
Picasso, I got you, but that's a waste of time.
It's only a couple niggas on here that I believe would throw hands. If we gonna have a conversation and y'all want to talk about what's fruitful for the community, why are we? Because I don't even believe that people want to hear that. Yeah. We are talking 95% of the time on what I would do if I wanted to. Y'all had an opportunity to ask me any question that y'all want to, and that's how I know that the community is degenerate. That y'all don't really want a solution.
Anton, hold on, y'all. But Anton, what did I say?
Philosophical and the other guy is the only ones that brought up anything that was relevant as far as how it is that we can progress the community. Y'all are more interested in talking about who woulda, coulda, shoulda on the scrap.
No.
Hold on. With that being said, let me respond. That's my thing. Because I'm not no super tough guy, but if we was around each other when that happened, bro, it would have went left. But that was 3 years ago.
Probably.
That's 3 years ago.
I think that you and maybe Mr. Fantastic tops.
But when it comes, but my issue with
that's disrespectful right there.
Exactly.
No, y'all is soft. Okay, I'm guessing Mr. Fantastic and Anton probably had disagreement. I don't know of that one, but I have watched the philosophical one, and it was extreme. I'm not gonna lie. Why can't it just be a conversation? And you can still fight with your words. Everything don't have to be throw hands at the end of it as well. Use your words also. Now, if it gets to the fighting part, you're gonna have to back it up. But we still need to learn how to talk and communicate to each other.
What I'm saying, that disrespectful right there. Hey, bro. You don't know nobody on here.
Honestly,
he's great.
Let Ella rock.
This is greatness
in order for you to grow in this space, I'm talking about on some content creation. You got to get control of the emotions of the men that you have on your panel, bro.
That's not an emotion.
Because they don't.
Respectfully, Anton, I see a lot worse.
Didn't you run Fight Club?
Than I see on my shit, bro.
You just made a
hold on, please, everybody, please stop talking. I'm talking to Anton right now, please. I don't have no wild ass dust ups on my show, bro. It's gonna be some.
I'm talking about you got an opportunity to clip this up and get a lot of views and all of that, and they want to be the main character instead of ask their questions.
I agree with philosophical though. Anton panels, when it comes down to like Slimmy and Q, probably they don't went kind of crazy or whatnot. But I mean, I still get what Anton's saying at the same time.
I'm talking purely on content, purely on some content.
Yeah,
and that's my problem, Anton. I'm not all the way into that mindset because my thing is not saying you wrong, but my thing is I try to have organic conversations, not just online conversations. And in real life, things get testy. In real life, sometimes I just don't let nobody get disrespected. I'm not letting nobody get called a bitch or a hoe. If you watch, I'm sure you don't watch my channel, but I don't have none of that.
Listen, I watch everything, bro.
Well, you should know I don't do that. I don't have no type of
right here, right now.
You said what?
I'm talking about in this conversation right now. If it's
just ask the question.
When people come on my platform, let's say Myron, some people don't like him, some people do like him. You know what we do? We shut up and we let him talk. We extend the grace because he's the person that is going to bring all of the views because of his he's the guest on a platform that people are not willing to that haven't been used to seeing on the platform.
So you a clout chaser?
We had no idea you was going. I feel you right. I had no idea.
Philosophical, I'm out. I'm gonna holler at you, bro. Listen, philosophical.
Let him talk.
Philosophical. Hit me up.
I want you to
email me philosophical.
Let him talk, Sean. Let him talk.
Philosophical. Email me. We'll do a one-on-one live stream together, and I'll answer any question that you got that you want to answer. That way you can get the clips. That way you can get all of the anything that you want to get off, and we can have a conversation individually.
I respect that, and that's a bet. Don't. You gotta unblock me though.
What are you talking about? I ain't about you.
I'm gonna leave it right there. Picasso, man, that dude is a character. You can have dislike for maybe views and opinions on someone, but to just say you want to fight them over like small, minute things is scary. And I'm gonna be honest, in the black community, you definitely have to face those situations a lot of the times. It always has to go to this extreme point. Why does it always have to go to fighting? But Mansa just a minute ago was speaking about how we were so disenfranchised, love. Philosophical was saying that we have to come with love and this and that. These two guys at the bottom was literally talking about fighting Anton because of disagreements they had with the fight he had with a whole nother person. This is crazy. So I hope it's just not a place of jealousy or he has this, voice and opinion and he's clouded and he has people following him and he makes all this money a whole night or whatnot. It can't come from that place. Your disdain has to come from maybe he's hurting people. And I'm talking about like some of these leaders in these other countries that literally hot bodies. You have to have a disdain like that to say that you want to put harm onto someone. But for a view and opinion that's still received by a lot of people, it's kind of scary. It's like, damn, hold on, let me really listen to what he says to see if it makes sense or not. Or maybe I'm being emotional and internalizing it the wrong way. We just got to think about what's being said. I resonate with a lot of things Anton says. And if you don't like this reaction, I really don't care. I'm gonna be honest. I saw it. I want to react to it. I'm gonna say how I feel about it. And if it looks like I sit more to Anton or whatnot, it is what it is. I don't care. His message, his thought process, the consistency, it has helped me out in my life drastically. Because like I said, at the same time, you have to take bits and pieces from different people that you watch, you listen, you pay attention to, whether it be in your life or outside of your life. Anton being someone that I do not know personally. You have to take the message and you have to pinpoint it and piece it into your life to where it can fit and work and how you can actually benefit off of it. So for that, I will say, I appreciate Anton Daniels drastically. But for people to feel like you can't think logically in the situation and I just have to automatically agree. See, I think we just don't look deep enough into the situation. I said during my reaction, I don't think Anton or Corey really wanted to fight. He's philosophical. Well, who said Corey was 58, Anton in his 40s? Bruh, they're not fighters. I don't know how that would have looked, but I guarantee you the ramifications afterwards would have been a lot more drastic than what we're doing right now, just talking about it. It would have been legal things going on. You got to think about it. Anton already has a busy schedule. He have his life structured a certain way. He's on clockwork when it comes down to the content and the things he do in his life. Why would he fight now and literally throw a wrench in the situation and blow up his whole routine? We have to really think about that. And what Picasso is saying, like this whole crash out culture mentality, that's a big problem why a lot of people throw their lives away. And then they have to pick the pieces back up 5, 10, 20 years later on down the line. Can you do it? Yeah, but I'm be honest, I don't want to go that route. I don't want to live in a jail cell full of guys that I'm sitting there around, possibly out of, fight for your cheeks, fight for your manhood, your disrespect, all that. You cannot, that is not a place where men need to go through that to find out how to come out on the other side. There's other forms that you can do it. And that means getting around other people, learning how to handle conversation and emotions. I'm gonna be honest, when it comes down to white and black people and other cultures, we all communicate very differently. Sometimes the way how they communicate amongst each other, to us might look like disrespect. Now, it's okay to have boundaries with yourself to where certain things you're not gonna deal with, but I think it's best to learn how a lot of these other cultures operate so you know how to deal with them. So you're not just getting emotional and now you become a crash out. Now you get put in a box because you don't know how to function and move around other groups of people. I don't want to be like that because that's not going to help you grow. You ain't got to be them, but you got to know how to understand them so that you can still move around them and mitigate the risk of these crash out situations happening. I can't control how white people think. I can't control how Asian or Mexican people think, Indian people think. But if I learn and understand cultures, I know how to navigate, move through the conversations. Sometimes you got to be a chameleon. In any room that you're in, you got to know how to blend in, read the room. If I'm around a whole bunch of females, I know how to change my persona to match maybe the social butterfly vibe to make the females more comfortable. I might not come in there a certain way. I might change it up. It's okay to do that. And I think that's what being a well-rounded person is. But sometimes people feel like you just got to be this way. And then people going to judge you on how they feel like you need to be. And they not even like that. I'm not mad at this. Shout out to Philosophical and Anton and everybody on the panel for having this conversation. I had my differences with Philosophical. And like I said, I feel like it came from a place with me and Philosophical, from a place where I couldn't convey the message that I wanted to. Just be on the panel. I just be honest with myself. Sometimes with these debate platforms, it can be a little chaotic to get your thoughts out like you want to. But, ultimately, I think the message that I sent wasn't trying to be harmful about reading. I appreciate reading and whatnot. I got 2 books. Oh, no, they're not in here. But I have plenty of books or whatnot that, I still read or whatnot, but it's still depending on what type of literature you're reading. Whether it's stuff that's going to help you or it's just going to be fantasy, and that's really what that place came from. But I have no disagreements with Philosophical. I route Mr. Fantastic, Trey, everybody on here. Not everybody, but y'all, let me get y'all thoughts on this. Y'all can watch this in its entirety. Man, y'all just make sure y'all like the video, comment below. This is JayBReacts. And I hope y'all have a great MLK Day. If y'all watching this, I'm pretty sure it is that. If it's not, y'all still enjoy the day, whatever time of day it is. Just enjoy it. This is JayBReacts. Until next time, y'all. Peace.